I often see people who are like, hey, I was on LinkedIn and I was scrolling through LinkedIn and I saw you and Peter and I scrolled past through you guys. So I didn't hear a word you said or see anything you said, but I saw you guys on LinkedIn. And I love this because it means we've cracked the code on something super important from a marketing perspective.
Attention, capturing attention.
Yes. Because the constraints on attention are incredibly real. Everything is abundant except for attention is super scarce. And in the feed, like there are some realities, like you're going to be skipped in the feed. Sound will default be off. And basically they're going to pay attention for maybe like a handful, like some milliseconds. And so whatever you do from an advertiser, from a market perspective, has to be basically appealing to people in that environment. That's a very difficult, brutal environment.
Yeah, it's funny. I feel like marketers, creatives especially, they're always designing for the best case scenario.
Yes.
They're like, I'm going to assume that I have 30 seconds to tell a story, and then at the end I can do the grand reveal of the logo and tell them who was advertising in the first place. It's like they're never designing for the worst case scenario, which is I'm going to get like half a second at the beginning and then nothing. Even though that's the norm. That's like 90% of people are having the worst case experience, not the best case experience.
Yeah, if you're not designing it for being skipped with sound off for the millisecond, then you're wasting, to your point, 90% of your budget, essentially. Like, we're maybe only getting like 10x, but everyone else is getting 1x.
I think a lot about Jenny Romaniuk, Professor Jenny Romaniuk, one of our great mentors and the inventor of distinctive brand assets.
She is the best.
And
Go,
there's
Jenny,
something
go.
she always used to say to me, which is branding is mandatory, messaging is
Yeah,
optional.
this is such a hot idea.
So what is she basically saying? She's saying, marketers spend all their time agonizing over messaging. What are we trying to communicate? What's our value prop? And then maybe at the end, they'll spend a few minutes thinking about visually, how it's conveyed, how the branding is embedded in the story. But just like we've been talking about with people only see us for a second in the feed, like an ad can work without any message as long as it has the brand so that you're at least refreshing or building a memory that there's a brand that calls Evidenza that exists, right? So the branding is 100% mandatory. The ad cannot work if people don't know you're the one, you're the brand that's actually advertising.
This to me is an incredibly interesting idea. The branding is mandatory. The messaging is optional. You can look at ads. The revealed action or the revealed kind of preference is that they don't think the branding is important. It is not central. It's at the very end, right? And so you can just look at the actual ads and see the answer.
And people do stock photography, right? This has always been one of the things that pisses me off most in the world. People are like, I'm using stock. I spent 10 hours working on the message and the value prop, and then I went to Shutterstock and bought a picture of people in suits shaking hands.
This should be called Shutter Slop.
It's Shutter Slop. Well, it goes back to the slop idea. Everyone's like, oh, we're going to see so much AI slop visuals. It's like, what are you... The slop was from the humans buying the stock photography.
Totally.
All of a sudden in my feeds, I'm seeing fantastical, incredible visuals of elephants riding lions and all of this Dolly-esque crazy shit, right? It's 100 times more visually interesting and distinctive.
Yeah, stock imagery just got a huge upgrade.
Huge upgrade, right? It actually, there is no more stock imagery.
No, it's all
now
what do you
everything
want? Right.
can be whatever you want it to be. I think part of the explanation here, or part of the problem, I should say, is that when you present the copy internally, people can have a kind of rational conversation about is it good or it's bad. The problem with visuals is it's so subjective. Yeah. It's like you bring it to the CMO and they're like, I don't like blue. I like green. I have this green, It's like everybody's just got their own little opinions on the visuals and no one's opinion is right or wrong. But that's where I think AI is an interesting opportunity where you can actually test, is this the right visual? Is it counter-positioned against how other brands appear, right? No, we can't be blue because everyone else is blue. There is a rational way to explain why you chose X visual over Y visual.
Well, I like this idea of objective versus subjective. You're right. These things are the thing that matters is performance. So it's not really subjective. It's kind of you should produce two pieces of creative, and it could be text or it could be images, and then it's just the performance that decides, right? There was a very interesting piece of research that came out from some professors at NYU and Emory. So what they did is they basically created images using Gen AI, and then they ran them on the Google Display Network, and they asked people in a lab to rate their purchase intent and basically how much they liked the ads, right? They asked them to would you click, would you buy? And what they found is that Gen AI created ads, so no human involved, purely Gen AI, had 19% higher click-through rate than human created ads.
Damn. And as if that's not enough,
They
what
also
about purchase
showed
intent?
that the purchase intent was 47% higher from purely Gen AI created ads.
Wow.
So you're basically saying like people are going to click and they're going to buy. The
Yeah,
fun thing is they gave humans the ability to change ads if they wanted to, and they tested those ads too. And those ads underperformed. This is interesting though. If you tell people that the ad is created by Gen AI, then ad effectiveness went down 32%.